Hi, welcome to Know It Ollie ELI5's DRS or Direct Registered Shares. So there's been a lot of talk about the direct registered shares recently as a lot of market mechanics have been brought to light. So what is DRSing? DRSing is putting shares directly in your name. It's the same as getting a physical paper share and putting your name in the owner's box. It's just we do it in a digital way now. Big money, big institutions, large institutional investors, or large individual investors, they often direct register their shares to make sure that when they do a large purchase of shares, it moves the price in the way that they intend it to by buying those shares. If you don't have your shares directly registered in your name, then all you have in your account, in your brokerage account, is an IOU. The only company that actually holds shares is Seed & Co. And there's a video on them if you would like to know more. They hold the shares and they have held those shares for a very long time. And what they do is it's a way in the 60s of consolidating all of the physical shares so that they could be traded much quicker when we got into a digital world with all the computers. So now Seed & Co. have the shares in their name. And what they do is they send IOUs out into the market. The problem with the IOUs is that if you were to naked short a stock or short a stock or operationally short a stock, create synthetic shares through put and call, married put and call options, those create IOUs. And as far as the stock market is concerned, all IOUs are equal. And so there can be a lot more IOUs in the market than there are actual shares tied back to the actual company. Your large institution, your broker that you have, will often say that they've put the shares in a street name and then they have it registered as your shares in their computer. That is institutional big money directly registering them in their own name instead of your name. So say you're with international brokers will have their name on a big pool of shares, and then they have a list that says this share belongs to this person, these ones to that person. They've got them registered in their name, but it's not in your name. And if it's not in your name, then those shares can still be lent out. They can still be rehypothecated, turned into synthetics. There's a lot of dirty things that can still happen to those shares if they're not in your name. Even though you believe you have them, it might be in your IRA, your retirement account, it doesn't matter. What is in your retirement account or your TFSA is an IOU. And so direct registering your shares is the only way to turn that IOU into your physical share, your ownership, your name. No one can take that away from you. DRSing, if it's done on a large scale with any particular company, is the same as an investor-driven share recall. And a share recall would be done by a company that thinks that its stock is being abused. However, companies are not legally allowed to ask or tell their shareholders to directly register their shares. For some reason, the SEC has decided that that is illegal. To own your shares in your own name or to promote owning your shares in your own name is not allowed, apparently, by companies. So, how do you direct register your shares? If you buy a share with your brokerage, you can call up your brokerage, ask them to direct register your shares. You want them sent to Computershare or whoever the direct registrant is for the company you're looking to direct register your shares for. Make sure that they don't tell you it'll be weeks because there's a number of different SEC rules and FINRA regulations that say that the transfer actually has to happen within a few days of being notified. So I'm not going to tell you what that is because if you're going to do this, you need to go and do the research for yourself to make sure that direct registering is right for you. But just know if you're told there's a delay, immediately make sure you know what the rules are so that you can quote that rule number to them and say, actually, this should be done within the week because these rules say so. So you ask for it to be sent over. They do all the work for you. Some some brokerages you have to pay. It might be $5, $10. In Canada, I know it's actually about $300 to register a share. And then you wait. You get some mail that lets you open your account. And then there's a couple other bits and pieces you need to do, but it's pretty straightforward. There's just a lot of patience. So what impact then does direct registering your shares have? Why would you do it? Really, what besides having the shares in your name, what's the point? If Seed and Co have 10 shares of company A, only 10 shares exist. If that company has been short sold, rehypothecated, shares have been synthetically created, operationally shorted into existence, there might be 100 shares in the stock market, whereas there's only 10 actual shares in directly registered at Seed and Co. If half of those shares, just 5 of those shares, get direct registered, it removes those 5 shares from the market. However, it does not remove the synthetic shares based off of those underlying assets. So if you have 10 shares with 100 shares in the market, you register 5, half of the actual shares. You now have 5 underlying stock with 95 shares in the stock market. That's gone from a 10x number of shares in the market to a 19x number of shares in the market as the underlying very, very quickly. So directly registering your shares makes sure that if you are wanting to buy stock for a long period of time and hold on to those and make sure that they're yours, by direct registering, you are ensuring that the market knows and realizes that those shares have been removed from the market and are no longer up for sale. They're no longer part of the price discovery cycle because they've been removed, which limits supply, which in regular times would send the price of the stock up. So that's direct registering your shares. It is taking the shares out of Seed and Co, away from the DTCC, is putting your name onto the physical share so that it belongs to you and no one else and it can't be lent out. Know it, Ollie out.